trip of last week's, serious and companion issues. I know most of you are waiting to have our take on a lot of the major issues that have happened in the course of the week. But as always, Sports 101, we are here to break down the issues and give you the excitement aspect of it. This is our sports review show every Sunday from 7 o'clock p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. Kofi Asedi is here, Percy is here. Guys, how's your weekend been? Quick one. Before we quickly delve into the issues, let me start from Kofi.
Oh, it's been amazing. It's been amazing. Pretty much amazing. It's been filled with a lot of fun, a lot of action, and we look forward to another beautiful week.
Percy?
It's been stressful, very, very stressful, Charlie. And tomorrow, Charlie, Wednesday, but God day.
Obviously, God day, but on the note of sports, let me give you a quick, round, a detour around the world and in the happening of sports. So let's start from about 2 weeks ago. And maybe Kofi, when we start the show, Kofi and Percy would choose which of them they want to have their take on. 2 weeks ago, the World Athletics Championships ended in Hungary in grand style. The Americans literally regained the titles they lost to the Jamaicans. In the 100 meters, Shericka Jackson, doing the unthinkable by beating Sha'Carri Richardson. Okay, it's actually Sha'Carri Richardson.
They would beat themselves.
Yeah, Sha'Carri Richardson. Sha'Carri, those days. Sha'Carri Richardson of the United States actually beat Shericka Jackson of Jamaica in the 100 meters. And, Shericka Jackson beat Sha'Carri Richardson in the 200 meters. In the 4x100, both in the men and in the men and the women, the Americans did the amazing thing, regained their title, the one they lost to the Jamaicans.
The Americans actually did not compete in the final.
In the final last year because
No, in the 4x100 women's, the Americans were disqualified.
Yes, exactly. The Americans were disqualified. But
issue.
The interesting thing is that these Americans, if you look at the last 3 Olympics, they have suffered and have slumbered a little bit in the eyes of the Jamaicans. The Jamaicans have literally dominated the track event in the women's division, but it looks like this new crop of Americans, especially the female division, are doing something interesting. In the men's division, Noah Niles, this guy, has been very controversial. Kofi, I don't know if you saw the bust-up between
himself and the
NBA guys. I don't know what's wrong with the NBA. How do you win an NBA championship and call yourself a world champion?
No, but anybody who wins the NBA championship is the world champion.
How are you a world champion?
There is no better organized competition anywhere in the world than the NBA.
Do you agree that if you win an NBA championship, you're a world champion?
But what he even said, the guy was not well informed. He wasn't well informed.
Who?
I'm talking about Noah Lyles.
So you think Noah?
No, I'm trying to say that the name world champion in the NBA has been changed a long time ago.
So
that he's not even aware.
Okay, so the issue,
apart from even the fact that
here
he's
is
the most.
But when you're an NBA champion, you're a world
Yes,
champion.
no,
but you see,
I'm trying to
no,
say
you
yes.
cannot call yourself. This is the thing. I think that the NBA changed it for their own reason, but on the sphere of things. How do you, maybe guys, you yourself can go into this. So how do you win an NBA championship? A championship that is organized by the United States. The teams that play in it, apart from the Toronto Raptors, who, based on proximity, they've been drafted in, and literally, the Toronto Raptors are the only team that is based in Canada that plays in the NBA. And based on the association rules, literally is an American organized basketball association. So at the end of it all, you win a title. You can't parade yourself as a world champion. What Noah Lyles is saying is that you are literally competing among yourself. It's like City winning the Premier League or Real Madrid winning the La Liga and going around to call themselves, we are the world champions. That's what Noah Lyles is saying. He's saying that
can you name one team in the world that can beat the what's the name of the team that won the NBA?
The Denver Nuggets.
Denver Nuggets.
Can you name one team in the world
I think
that can stand up against
I think
the
that's
Denver
not the
Nuggets?
issue.
That's the issue.
The issue here.
The
is-
issue is that the Denver Nuggets is the best team in the world. I mean, they do not have any.
They are not
peerless.
I think that this is where I agree with no one else. They are the best team in America
Because the best team in the world.
Because
they are world champions.
This is the debate, and I disagree with Austin Reeves and the likes of Drake. I'm glad LeBron has not spoken. I'm glad the top guys have not spoken.
But they're all in agreement.
They
don't need to speak.
No,
They're all in agreement.
When I read the tweet from Austin, I said, these guys are just small boys, so they don't know. They have nothing. When the proper championship came out, the United States fell short.
No, but
when they needed,
they never send the pros.
Don't compare apples and peaches. Don't compare apples and peaches.
When they needed to actually,
We are talking about the NBA. We are talking about the FIBA games. No, don't do that.
The FIBA games
No.
the Federation of International Basketball Association.
No,
It's
but we are
just like-
talking about national team competitions. Like you are talking about club team competitions.
Let me have a take after that. If you come in.
Yeah,
You should understand.
we've actually not started the show yet.
Don't worry, we've started. Now, you should understand that this American team you're talking about, out of the 19 Olympic games that they've competed in, they've won 16 gold medals.
Olympic games.
I'm coming. Yes, Olympic games, 16 gold medals.
Right.
And do you know how many they've gone with college students? 84. That is with the likes of what do you call it? MJ. MJ by then was a college boy.
Yeah.
MJ competed 88. It was in 92 that they wanted to constitute it with the pros. And they have been doing this. So even with the Olympics, they don't even send the NBA players who are Americans to even compete.
That is Americans' own problem.
I'm coming. You were talking about the FIBA, and I wanted us to debunk the fact that people may not understand. Tell me one American basketball pro who is adjudged the best, or even compete for the American team in this FIBA.
The last FIBA championship.
We are talking about this American.
The last
they were
FIBA
major
championship.
stars in this.
Yes, the last.
in this FIBA
I'm talking
team.
about the last FIBA championship. You know the players United States.
No, but even this one, they had major
Exactly.
No, but even this one, they
And
had
Kofi, you know the reason. Yeah, you know the reason why. You know the reason why they didn't.
Mikael Bridges,
When
Anthony Edwards.
Yes, when
Austin Reeves.
when Steve Kerr was asked why they actually didn't take the big guns.
No, but
what was
the
his reason?
issue is that the FIBA is an inferior competition.
Of course,
to
it's
the
nowhere near the
Olympics,
NBA.
yes.
You see,
It's an
United
inferior
States,
competition to them.
the United
to the
States
Olympics.
are trying to
When
build.
it comes to basketball, it's
they're
about
trying to build
Olympics
a
and
new
Olympics.
proper flex. But guys,
No, they are not
maybe
trying to build a new
they're trying to build.
LeBron James says he will be at
Next
the
year.
2024 Olympic
As for the
Games.
Olympic Games, yes, they would,
They are
because
going with the
they,
big guns.
they
No,
think
that is the creme de la
They
creme.
think that the Olympic Games is more valuable.
It's not what they think.
They think
more-
the United States.
It is
more
you know,
valuable than FIBA.
You do not. It's like the EPL, because arguably the EPL, and I think all of us agree, it is the best league, the well organized league. Literally every country looks at the EPL as the SI unit in terms of how a league is run and marketed. The La Liga right now pales in comparison to the EPL. You win the EPL, and because of the grandness of the EPL, how great Manchester City are in terms of being the best team in Europe in the EPL as we speak, then the Manchester City would hit their chest.
Let me ask you a quick
Yeah,
question. Let me ask you a
I
quick
think
question.
that's
Which
a
is the best
funny-
team? Which is the best club team in the world today?
City,
Why?
because they beat literally.
No, hold on. Let's do this
You've not
step by
answered the
step.
question.
Which
Why?
is the best club team in the world today?
The best club team
Yes.
in the world. I can't tell. The best European team
What
in
is
the world
which
City.
is the best team in the world today?
I do not know.
You do not know.
The best European team is Manchester City.
no.
Why?
Let's
Is it
not-
because they
let's
won the
not
Champions
try to-
League?
let-
because
let's
they
What
won the
about Copa
Champions
Libertadores?
Yes.
What
you
about
see,
CAF Champions
we
League?
can adjudge the best club in the world when that tournament happens.
But City has not played in the World Club
So you
Championship.
So
think-
yes, when
so
it
you
happens,
think-
then
so-
we can
so-
adjudge them
so
as the
you
best
think
club in the
until then
world.
it's Real
So-
Madrid.
so
Why
you
did
think-
you mention City?
Yes, until then it's Real Madrid.
Hold on.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
So you think the City needs the credentials of being World Club champions before they are deemed the best team in the world. No, that's been trivial.
Anyway, that's also on a bit of tidbits. A quick one on tidbits happening around the world. Coco Gauff, the 19-year-old American, literally reinvented history as being the second youngest in terms of personnel to win in the female division, to win the US championships after Serena Williams. Very, very young, 19 years. The last time she, I saw a video of her, she was 12 years celebrating, jubilating in the stands. That was 2012. 8 years at the time. 8 years on, more or less like how many years? 8 plus, what makes 19? 8 plus 7. 7 years on, literally she comes back to win the champion, the US champ. Well, what do you make of Coco
the US
Gauff?
For she's the second youngest that is the American, because Andreescu was 18.
Yeah.
When Andreescu won it, she was 18 years. So Andreescu herself, Serena, and it seems another lady too. So 19, 19, 18. And this is one lady who has been very resilient for the past 2 years. She started from 16 years. She started from starting with the qualifiers, and she was pushing through. And we're having this discussion on the page, at the backstage, and I was like, you see this resilience in her in some of the tennis greats who have come a few years back. Talk about Sloane Stevens herself, that is Naomi Osaka. They all started besting out this big. But if you look at this lady, there is one thing about, I don't really know, but you see this resilience. If you watch, is it her quarterfinals, her outburst with the umpire, with respect to she trying to voice out a few things that she wasn't okay with, you realize that this is one person that, bar all of the things that have gotten these people, so and Stevens, we don't know what happened. Of course, some of them to Andreescu, the issue of injuries, and you talk about Osaka. We all know the issue of Osaka. She's going to take a boyfriend, and now she got pregnant. She stopped. She did a whole lot of things, and we are hoping that now, after we had the likes of the Serena sisters coming in, we will have another person who will be very consistent, because for the WTA there have been a lot of inconsistent ones that have come in. You can talk of Sharapova. She came in after a while. She was also a prodigy. Then the issue of the drug issue, and she was off. You can talk about Ashley Barty. Some of them are impromptu. They are just saying that they are not playing the game. So for the WTA there have been a lot of inconsistency. A lot of them are not able to. You can talk of Muguruza. Muguruza came in, she won back to back, even with the Olympics, and after 2012, 2013, she was gone. So we hope that she wouldn't be a flash in the pan, and she will be that consistent. Maybe we are not probably looking at 23 Grand Slams, but wouldn't be a 2-3 year. And I was saying something like, for the past 4 or 5 years, whenever anyone wins the US Open, maybe the best would be Australian Open, and they will just be off. The same thing happened to Osaka, Stevens, but we hope. I think Kofi also has something.
Her rise is interesting. Last year, is it this year?
Yeah,
she was second
like
in the Australian Open.
She lost in the final.
She lost in the final. What do you make of Coco Gauff's rise to women's stardom in the world of sport? It's like she's been bidding her time. She's felt how it the emotions of losing in a final. And when I was watching, I think in the first set she was a bit jittery and all of that. You could see the nerves, but I kudos to the crowd as well. They roared her, and the support she got from the crowd was great. But what do you make of Coco Gauff's championship win?
Well, I think that it takes only a few, back to the points that Percy sought to make, it takes only a few players to master the 4 various surfaces when it comes to the Grand Slams. I mean, the Flashing Meadows has always been about the hard courts. Then you come to the Australian Open, which is more like a mix of grass and then hard courts. Then you come to the French Open, which is clay. Before you come to Wimbledon, which is purely grass. You understand? So that is why people like Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, Andrea Agassi, Pete Sampras, even my good friend yes, Roger Federer, they are celebrated, or Serena. It takes only a few players to master the art of playing across the four major
courts,
surfaces.
yeah.
I mean, yesterday we had an interesting discovery, and somebody was saying that if you consider somebody like Medvedev, I mean, this is a hardcore specialist, and he's somebody who has modeled his game around, because when it comes to the various surfaces, even the bounce of the ball feels different. You understand? So you would have to adjust your style. You would have to adjust how you approach all of the major surfaces or major courts when it comes to these Grand Slams. But I am happy for Coco Gauff. I mean, 19 years. I was telling somebody yesterday, it was not just about, when it gets to finals like this, it's not just about your talent, it's about temperament. Yeah. And yesterday, the fact that she went down the first set, playing in front of the home court, and Americans have long yearned for another successor. They had seen them. I mean, I was thinking that we were going to have an all-American final. I was hoping Keys would make it to the finals. You understand? But you look at the Americans, you look at the era of the Serenas, the Williams sisters, and I am tempted to think that if you probably stretch the argument, it is simple. Probably we will not see another Serena Williams, because in the era of Serena Williams and Venus Williams, there was still Martina Hingis, there was Justine Anna Aden. In fact, there were two Eastern European. There was Sharapova who came in. But you see, people like Justine Anna Aden, they were a dynasty. You understand? Martina Hingis, they were a dynasty. They were people who loved the sports, dedicated their whole being to the sports, and then made sure that there was continuity. So at that time, you could talk about top 5, top 6 potential winning any Grand Slam they walked into. These days, I see the draw for most of the I see the draw for most of these Grand Slams, and I cannot simply guess which of them will make it to the semi-finals. You understand? I mean, this tells you how inconsistently widespread the talents are these days. I mean, I think that we ought to give a lot of credits to Sabalenka. I mean, another Belarusian adds to the Eastern European species.
She takes over as
the world number one, even with the loss. I mean, from Swiatek. I mean, I think that there's something that the Eastern Europeans, championed by Novak Djokovic, are doing right. If there's one thing you cannot fault the Eastern Europeans about when it comes to these games, it's their mindset. The toughness of their brains, the toughness of their mental faculty.
Quickly, I want us to switch the discussion because of time. Do you think that she would reign? Because one of the major issues that I think we've all alluded to is there's not been a consistent in the women's division. There's not been a consistent women's champion, like Percy mentioned. Osaka, on and off. Muguruza, on and off. Like you mentioned, Serena, if she was dominating for years. Sharapova, dominating for years. Martina Hingis, dominating for years. All these ladies would dominate for years. But some may argue that this actually indicates that there's a lot of competition, because now you cannot dominate for years. But let's stick to Coco Gauff in the next 60 seconds. Do you think she can reign?
Well,
as young as she is, very athletic. I watched her yesterday, super athletic.
Well, I think she has the right training staff around there. Her coach is Gilbert.
Yeah, Gilbert.
Yes, and if you follow the US Open, you realize that there was that technology that allowed the coaching staff to speak to the players even when they were playing. Yeah. You understand? So at breaks, you could have a direct dialogue with the coaching staff. There were points that Gilbert pointed out there. You have to change your game this way. You don't have to be. Then she said, no. So a kid, 19 years, insistent on the technique she deems most favorable to let her win a competition. I think that signifies of maturity, first of all. Number two, it signifies that she knows her onions. You understand? Because oftentimes, I mean, people just watch these Grand Slams for watching sake. oftentimes you realize that people talk about the backhand, people talk about the forecourt strength and all of those other shots that people make. The point is that, or the teardrop, you understand? The point is that you need to master all of these specialities, and then most importantly, deploy which one you think is most suitable against the opponent that is on the other side of the court.
No matter how good you are, your opponent defines how
exactly. So if for example you watched Medvedev against Alcaraz, you watched that. What Alcaraz did was that he tried to engage Medvedev in long you cannot do that. It's not sustainable.
Because of his power in the
his
serving
power,
and
his height,
his height and everything. I thought that he literally lost the technique
because
in terms
he played
of his approach to
Medvedev's hands.
Exactly, but that's what you get when it comes to Sports 101. We cut across enough of athletics, enough of basketball.
We didn't talk about the athletics. You just brushed it.
Yeah, that's why it's statements. Enough of tennis. We quickly delving into the issue. So tonight we have a plethora of issues. We are going to be looking at, in the course of last week, an interesting thing happened. And so after the United lost to Arsenal, during the presser, a question was posed to Erik ten Hag, where as a manager, he felt that, I need to be truthful. Why was Jadon Sancho not in the team? And he truthfully answered that, listen, he's not giving me the performance I want to see in training. And so I did not deem him fit to be part of this team. Then in the evening, we saw a long tweet or a long post from Jadon Sancho, literally calling the manager out, saying that, it's not what it's meant to, seem, literally calling the manager a liar, that he's been giving out his best and all of that. We're going to delve deep into the Jadon Sancho, Erik ten Hag issue. In the end, we'll look at what should Ten Hag do, because he has the final say. And then I've listened to Teddy Sheringham. I've listened to the former Manchester United goalkeeper, Peter Schmeichel. I've listened to a lot of players, even those that are not Manchester United players, speak about this issue. Some actually say that they think this is the end of Jadon Sancho's career at Manchester United. We'll be delving deep into that issue. Then also we'll be looking at Arsenal. Does that win over Manchester United, cement the fact that it was a statement win, that Arsenal indeed are the guys to challenge Manchester City? When I say a statement win, they made a point with that win, or is those one of those, or it's just one of those wins that happens in the league, that a team will play at home and eventually he will win, and we shouldn't read too much into it. We're going to look at that as well. Then also back to Manchester United. What is happening in the last 14 away games Manchester United has played? They've drawn just one and they've lost 13. United has not won a single game against the top 6 teams on the road. Maybe we could juxtapose their home form, where United literally are unplayable playing at the Old Trafford. But when they go on the road against these top sides, United struggle. We will be looking at what is the problem, or we shouldn't read too much into it. Then we'll again delve deep into the Champions League draw together with other issues. But more importantly, we are looking at the Jadon Sancho, Erik ten Hag issue. If you're watching us live, this is Sports 101. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like our videos, comment on the issues. We need you. We want to hear from you. Do you think that Erik ten Hag was wrong in terms of how he approached the answer? Some feel that he could have just said, oh, it's just my game plan. He didn't fit into the game plan. That's all. Instead of opening a can of worms, and the player felt like he needed to respond. You also think that, come on, Jadon Sancho, you are the player. This is what the manager expects from you, but you are not giving it to him. And so what do you think? He calls out his manager. What do you make of the whole issue? Has he literally dug his own grave? If you are the manager, would you bring him back into the team? I have Kofi here. I have Percy here. Kofi, let me start with Percy. You read the post from Jadon Sancho. You saw the interview, or probably you read the transcript from Erik ten Hag. Let's get into the issue. First off, should Ten Hag have told the public why he dropped Jadon Sancho? Couldn't he have answered it in a different way? Let's look at this whole basta between. This is not the first time a manager and a player have had issues, but this is a player I feel that very, very talented, full of potential, but since he's moved to Manchester United, has failed to live up to expectation. But what do you make of the whole issue?
I want to align this with you watch TNT Tuesday. TNT Tuesday, that's the basketball review show.
I don't.
Okay. It's Shaq and there is Shaq. Shaq is there. There is Barkley and the other guy. Is it Clyde Drexler? I forgot it. Then he was trying to explain. It seems Shaq was trying to explain the difference between coaching
and managing.
No, it was coaching and is it rebuking a player?
Okay.
Then Barkley was like, how? Then he said, okay, he wants to demonstrate. Then he said he's demonstrating Barkley's stage as in the way he is to see which one he is going to be offended with. The first one was like, he tapped Barkley on the shoulder and was like, you know, you've really put on a lot of weight. Going to the gym would really make you feel good. He said, this is coaching. Then he went to criticizing. Okay. Then he went to criticizing. Then I don't want to use those words he used, but it was like, you know, you really look like a hunchback. Comparing yourself, that was what Shaq was. Comparing yourself to your youth sometimes. Look at your friends. They've built up. Why you
to the gym, they've done that.
Barkley literally got bored on the show. It was like, relax. I just gave you the difference.
Yeah.
Now bringing this to this is Ten Hag. He's the manager. In most English teams, you are not the coach.
Yeah.
And manager goes beyond just tactics on the field. Yeah. It goes with the players' welfare, the players' psyche. Some go to the extent of even knowing the players, their family, their wives, their kids, whatever they are going through and everything. This is a player that already is going through a lot.
To add up to it, he was actually given time off to train alone because he had some mental health and some issues.
Mental health issues.
Exactly.
Is it his granddad had died?
He's
had a whole lot of issues. Yeah. So coming and even after the Euro 2020, that's 2020, he losing the penalty. He himself, Rashford and Saka, the racial abuse that they went through. So coupled with all of this is a guy who has been going through a lot. Yeah. He's been having very little game time. We know that the Sancho that was in Dortmund is not the Sancho now. Now, an issue like this happens, and the next thing we hear the coach saying is that the player is not giving his best and blah, blah, blah.
Since at training, he is not performing to his standard. And so those the players that literally perform to are the ones that he picked.
Understood. Now, Sancho comes back, and based on, he realizes that, no, Charlie, I am doing my best. And he couldn't hold up anymore because he's somebody who is very frustrated. Now, this comment from these two people, it is from a manager who realizes that there is more demanded of him, and the player who also sees that he needs more opportunities to prove himself. Because now, if you don't know it, Ten Hag is a manager under fire.
In a way.
Probably not spoken, but he is a manager that first season, nobody expected him to win anything. Of course, he won the Carabao. He sent United was third, fairly okay, understandable. But with the second season, at least to an extent, the players that he's wanted has been given him, and the season is not going as expected. Obviously, when a question like this is posed to him, he would want, he's venting out for you to know that he actually wants some things to be done. And with Sancho, I don't really know what is going on in the backstage. But already we've had Ten Hag. This is not the first time he's done this to a player. I'm just bringing a few with Ronaldo. Of course, Ronaldo went first.
Yeah.
He went first and he spoke about everything happening.
Yeah.
Ten Hag came and spoke his mind.
Ronaldo spoke in an interview with Piers Morgan. Ronaldo spoke about the fact that these were Ronaldo's words. Let me quote and unquote. If he doesn't respect me, I don't see why I should.
Ronaldo is a top dog. For him, he is not going to wait for the coach to.
He felt Ten Hag in how he dealt with him showed a lot of disrespect.
Next is Harry Maguire.
Exactly.
Harry Maguire with his captaincy taken, of course, for that one I concur. I concur with whatever is, but I'm just giving you instance. Then Sancho. Now I think going forward and in quote throwing players under the bus when an issue of this happens, I think it is a way that if it is not controlled, it might end up in he losing the dressing room. That is me, what I understand. Let me put it this way.
Okay.
Let me take two top managers in Mourinho and Guardiola. A coach like Mourinho, it's not like he's never done this before. He has done this to Gallas.
Luke Shaw
I'm even talking
was
about
literally frozen out. Mata had his issues. So I'm surprised you are bringing up the Mourinho's name as a manager.
No. I'm not saying that he's good at that or whatever. I'm saying that I'm giving up managers who also have done this in the past, and how it positively affected them. Because with Luke Shaw, when he came into the team, he pushed Luke Shaw to a level that the Luke Shaw that was playing a season before, even going the 2018 World Cup, had it not been for injuries, he would have been the one to start.
So if I get your point, because of time, if I get your point, you're literally saying that Ten Hag did not handle the issue well.
Because first handling with Ronaldo involved in an outbreak that almost cost the whole United, and it had to end up in Ronaldo terminating his contract. With Maguire, it was more or less like the fans had been fed up of Maguire, so they maybe
he's a scapegoat.
With Sancho, you see, 1, nothing, 2, coincidence, 3,
it becomes
it's becoming a pattern. I am not concurring to the fact that Sancho came out to also bring, but he's human. He is somebody who feels like for the past, because if you compare Sancho, when he started, his mates were Greenwood, Foden, and himself. And he was literally unplayable. With these 3 players, he's unplayable. And now he looks back and he's like, if you look at himself, he looks at Foden, he looks at Rashford, he looks at even in the Dortmund team, himself, Bellingham, and Haaland. Look at where Bellingham is. Look at where Haaland is. So he's a frustrated man. So if he sees himself trying to give out his best, like I said, I don't know the details of whatever happened in the background, but he's man to bring this out. And I think United already has so many issues.
He shouldn't have stoked the fire.
No, United have so much to deal with.
Pause there, and I'll go to Kofi, and we'll come back to this, because this for me it's a very top issues. Now, Kofi, I always tell people that there's no matrix for who a great leader is, and if you want to see you cannot tell me somebody is a bad leader. And I gave this example. Would you say Adolf Hitler was a bad leader or a good leader? You see him as a bad leader or a good leader depending on where you sit.
Your stance.
Because for somebody to influence millions of people to do his bidding, the man must have had something in him for people to want to follow him, to do the things he wants. Likewise, somebody like Jesus Christ, for somebody to influence, have this number of following, this man should have something in him for somebody to want to follow. People have alluded to Alex Ferguson's managerial style. I listened to Teddy Sheringham and said that, listen, there was no point in time that Ferguson would throw a player under the bus. He would have found a way to manage the issue. But I keep telling people that, listen, he is the manager. The fact that you think you are doing your best, in your eyes, you may be doing your best, but the manager knows what he wants from you. And he is not seeing what he wants to see. And so he says that, I am not playing you because you are not doing what I expect you to do. And you go like, I am doing my best. And the manager says, this thing you called your best is not enough. Has the manager done anything wrong? Because he was asked a simple question. He answered honestly and truthfully. You cannot sit behind the microphone and say how Ten Hag answered the question is wrong because somebody may not do it the same way. Kofi, Percy feels that Ten Hag 1, Ronaldo. 2, Maguire. 3, this is no coincidence. This is not a mistake. This is a precedence. Ten Hag literally wants to make certain players scapegoats and throw people under the bus.
That's what I said.
In a way, Ten Hag did not handle the issue very well. Let's look at this whole Jadon Sancho issue. But guys, if you are watching us live, what is your take on Erik Ten Hag and the Jadon Sancho issue? Who was wrong? Who was right? And how do you think this issue would eventually end?
Well, I don't see how you throw in the Ronaldo bit.
I didn't. I mean, Percy
I don't get it. I don't get
Maybe
it. I mean, what's the whole
you know this whole
correlation to
Ronaldo bust up literally.
Hold on.
He started.
Let us state the issue. Ronaldo was being silly. He was being extremely silly
In your eyes.
and I am being. Nobody loves Cristiano Ronaldo
He's watching
more
you.
than I do.
In your eyes, he was being silly.
No, he was being extremely silly.
In your eyes.
Not in my eyes.
In somebody's eyes, Ronaldo was just being normal.
People in the dressing room respected.
Yeah.
And you see, you do not build a team around an individual. You build a team with a culture.
Yeah.
Ronaldo was going anti the culture. You cannot tell me you are a big boy. So when the manager tells you to warm up, you will not warm up and then you storm out of the stadium. Who sets that example? If you are you cannot do this under Pep Guardiola. You cannot do this under Jose Mourinho. You cannot do this under Alex Ferguson.
So you think the Ronaldo?
You know how we shouldn't even state the Ronaldo issue. I don't know why people are blindly paying allegiance to Cristiano Ronaldo. What he did at Manchester United was extremely silly, and Ten Hag, under the circumstances, was even more diplomatic.
Correction: Ronaldo's issue shouldn't have been brought in. Continue.
Well, back to the issue. I mean, you know how Ferguson stole Jabstam?
Yeah, and even
He found out at a gas station.
let me add
that he had been sold.
Let me give you the list. David Beckham wasn't sold
Van Nistelrooy?
Van Nistelrooy wasn't sold because of any
Roy Keane.
Roy Keane. He sold them literally because they felt like
No, Roy Keane wasn't sold. His contract was ripped apart.
It's my leadership, and if you are not going to my rules, you go. So Van Nistelrooy went to Real Madrid. David Beckham, by the time, was becoming
he almost ripped apart
so,
FS contract.
Continue. So there's a list.
So for me, I don't see the whole hula baloo about this. No, I don't agree with Percy. I don't agree with people who think that Ten Hag stepped out of line. Listen. Let me tell you something. It is now coming to fruition.
Yeah.
That the players in the dressing room of Manchester United are fed up with Jadon Sancho. This is public knowledge.
Yeah.
They are fed up. Why do you think they are fed up? Because we all know the guy is so talented, yet gives so little. Let me tell you something.
Is it that United have failed to get the best out of
It's not about United. And maybe it just points to the fact that the German league is not too difficult a league to play in. I am saying that could be one of the conspiracy theories. But this is a guy who was bought for almost 80 million pounds.
One of the most expensive signings.
Exactly. The guy does not have 10 goals in 2 seasons and wants to throw his weight around. He does not have double digit assists in 2 seasons and wants to throw his weight around. And when the manager, and you see, when issues arise, I always want to put everything in context.
Yeah.
This was Jadon Sancho, who has had issues with previous managers, even before Erik Ten Hag. Erik Ten Hag comes in, sees that this could be a player who could be very instrumental to everything successful I want to build at Manchester United. In the middle of the season, takes the guy off the firing line, gives him a 3-month break, and tells him that, Jack, go and sort your head out. Once you have sorted your head out, I can give you all the assurance that you are walking back into the team.
That's true.
Jadon Sancho comes back into the team, seemingly a new person. In pre-season, he plays him as the false number 9. Everybody thinks that, okay, this is the season that Jadon Sancho finally explodes. But the guy, anytime he's walked into a Manchester United team sheet, he's done absolutely nothing that I expect Jadon Sancho to do. What do you think? I've listened to other school of thought.
Yeah.
I don't think this is the end for Jadon Sancho. Manucho, my good friend, will tell you this is motivation by threats. I think that Jadon Sancho still has a big future at Manchester United. I listened to Rio Ferdinand's podcast. He went ahead to say that he thinks that this is Ten Hag's last resort to getting the guy to playing at the levels that we all know and believe he can play. You understand? And for me, I think that Jadon Sancho handled the whole issue critically. Listen, people have gone against Ten Hag. You might not like Eric Ten Hag for all of the things that he has done, but I think that if there's one man to stamp his authority, there has been a lot of bad nuts in that United dressing room post-Ferguson. People, and generally in football today, players have assumed the role as prima donnas. You understand? They think that they are the guys who cannot be fired. They think that every manager who comes in, yes, I have to play. They think that they can literally overlap every manager's authority.
That's the reason why
I think exactly. Right? I think that if you want a team to succeed, in that dressing room, there needs to be a boss. And for me, maybe Pep Guardiola handles it differently, but I've listened to an interview where Erling Haaland calls Pep Guardiola brutal. You understand?
Exactly. On the pitch, sometimes after half time, man, you go at you. Why did you do this? Why did you do that?
People act differently. Yeah. I think that if you want to succeed with a team, you need to stamp your authority. Yeah. And for me, I do not feel sorry for Jadon Sancho. I think that the manager couldn't have said it any right, and I think that the onus lies on Jadon Sancho to tell the whole world with his performances on the pitch. People have said that, oh, okay, so is this the same manager who sees Anthony in training and then goes ahead to pick him?
Add this to answering this. Trying to answer the question, guys. You've watched Anthony from last season through to this season. What is Anthony doing on the pitch that is so exceptional that, Ten Hag fields him every single time he's fit, and yet he fails to field Jadon Sancho based on performance? Because if for anything, apart from Anthony popping up to score 1 or 2 goals when the need arises, like Jadon Sancho also does when the need against Liverpool last season, he scored at the Old Trafford. Yeah. Against Manchester City, he scored at the Etihad. So why would you play Anthony and bench Jadon Sancho?
Just a quick one because before Percy comes in. Just a quick one before Percy comes in. In the world of football, work ethic is non-negotiable. Yeah. There's a reason why Anthony is in the Brazilian team, the best team in the world. There's a reason why. It's not because they are the best team. Forget about all of the FIFA rankings. When you get to play for Brazil, is the creme de la creme.
Brazil sees being the best team.
I am not talking about recent happenings.
No, let's continue.
Obviously, if we are talking about recent happenings, there will be a lot of can boxes can of worms that will be open. Yeah, I know you want to think that Argentina is the best team in the world. You understand?
2002. No, not even that. The best team in the world, in my opinion, is France.
There's a reason why he is in the Brazilian team.
The World Cup
not anybody gets to play in the Brazilian team. There are 1,001 Brazilians around. Not anybody gets to be in that 23
Trust me, Richarlison is in the Brazilian team.
Oh yes, obviously he's the number 9 for the Brazilians. He's the number 9.
But it has to do with what the Brazilian team,
what the manager requires of you. So
and he does it.
The fact that you can make it into the manager's first 11 does not necessarily mean that you are so exceptional.
Let's not digress.
Truth be told, Richarlison should not be playing for Brazil.
Seriously, let's not digress.
And in my best friend Kofi Mensah's words, that's the former Everton manager. What's his name? Ancelotti. Kofi doesn't like him, but.
He's the next manager in waiting for Brazil. I mean,
he doesn't but Richarlison should not leave the Brazilian number 9.
Scored one of the greatest goals of the past World Cup.
Trust me, there have been strikers who have scored amazing goals, but we don't even mention their names because they are
no, that's why you and I. But that's why you and I are not coaches.
Anyway, yeah.
Listen, this ex-Arsenal boy Olivier Giroud goes to the World Cup, does not get a shot on target, does not get a goal, but wins the World Cup because he plays a role.
Exactly.
That's the point.
Exactly. So playing a role does not necessarily mean that you are so good enough to be in there.
You don't need to be so good to be in a team.
Wrap up on the Ten Hag.
Well, so I think that we're talking about Anthony and Jadon Sancho, and I think that, listen, Anthony could not be giving you the figures that you expect from a winger.
Not just figures, performances.
It's down to figures.
Kofi said Anthony is a disgrace to everything football.
Exactly.
I don't know why he's not trying to.
You've said this before that Anthony.
You say it's a disgrace to Brazilian football.
So why
those were his words?
Why are you being when it comes to his role in Manchester United? You are trying to be political.
I don't know where you guys came from tonight, but wherever you came from, I'm sure you go back to where you came from. But the truth of the matter is simple. I think that yes, Anthony might not be giving you those numbers that you expect from a forward line. Yes, the numbers that you expect from a forward line. But the truth is that I think that you cannot question his work ethic. That's the key thing.
There was a point in that Arsenal game.
You cannot question.
United lost the ball.
Yes. Back.
This guy ran,
even
back and won the Barcelona.
Even versus Nottingham Forest.
There's a reason why this guy is in this team.
Yeah.
All right. So Percy, Kofi believes that. Trust me, anybody who goes at Ten Hag is probably missing the point. And I told you, I agree because it's the manager. He has set out his template. This is what I want to see in a player. This is how I expect you to play when we are on the training grounds or at the training grounds. This is how I'm expecting you to replicate the form at the training grounds in matches. He's not seeing that. He drops you. Sometimes he drops you on the bench. Sometimes like you don't even deserve to be in the team. Yes, there may be a player when he's on the training ground, he's exceptionally different. On a match game, he's also very, very different. But he's giving the manager bits and pieces of what he wants. Instead of coming out to rant and to you are doing your best. Why don't you? It's not about your best. It's about the manager's best, because it's about what the manager wants.
Like I was saying.
But you feel? Are you flat? Kofi feels that no. I agree with Kofi.
What I was talking about was the fact that I don't know what is happening at the training grounds. I have no idea.
And the manager is telling us.
I'm coming.
We both don't know. The manager is telling us that the guy is not performing to his expectations.
I am not even thinking of the emotions of Jadon Sancho, because when it comes to someone to be sacked, it wouldn't be Sancho. It would be the manager. No problem. Mine has to do with the state United is in at the moment. United already has, now we have Anthony that we don't know whether he would be dropped or not be dropped.
Oh, he's actually been given his excuse,
yes,
a leave of absence.
I understand,
to go deal with his rape issues. Oh, and fun.
We'll talk about that later.
And all of that.
I am talking about that issue. We just came up on the back of Greenwood's issue.
The last thing United would want is any form of negativity
around the sale of United, whether it's being sold, their stocks are going down.
Yep.
So mine had to deal with, I don't mind if Sancho rots on the bench as long as he's not performing. Mine has to do with in the heat of the moment.
You need to be a bit smart,
of course,
as a communications
I don't mind. I don't mind if Sancho is benched. You see, one of the reasons why we love Mourinho, we love Pep Guardiola, or we love Ferguson, I'm not going to add Klopp to it, is that they are not emotional when there is tension or when the situation is on the rise, and they have to be calm. There are sometimes, of course, they release one bomb, but usually they manage situations. 2006 World Cup, when Ronaldo actually pushed Rooney to be red carded, when that was Portugal versus England. Ferguson was like, when this whole thing happened, he was watching the match. The first thing he did was that after the match, he tried reaching Rooney, he couldn't get him. He tried Ronaldo, he couldn't get him. Then he called David Gill that he better flies to the World Cup was in Germany.
Yeah.
He flew to Germany just to get these things resolved, and he restrained from speaking to the public about it, because the English press came to, so what is going to happen? Will Ronaldo come? Blah 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 blah. He was able to get these things behind the curtains, and when he came to the public, by then he had resolved everything. Like I said, I am not going against the fact that he's putting the guy on the bench or the guy is not giving enough. Mine is that already already
the image of the club first.
Yes, already the club has gone through a lot, and I will say that Ten Hag, United are blessed to have Ten Hag in this, because in his time, the crisis this man has gone through, I don't think any United manager has gone through, because when he came, there has been the issue of Ronaldo, Maguire, you dropping the whole English captain.
Trust me, United has been through more crisis than this.
Then there is this issue, Greenwood has to bring him, take him, Anthony's issue, sale of United, they missing out on players, a whole lot of issues. And I think, Charlie, the guy has had enough. The guy has had enough. And I'm sure that the next player who messes up in training, if there, and like Kofi said, this is probably reverse psychology to him. Either you embrace the what you call the criticism in good faith and you fight for your position, or you call in or you give in and probably you lose your place.
60 seconds. Let's wrap up on this Jadon Sancho.
Because
I
actually think that Jadon Sancho, this is a fine opportunity.
It's a fine opportunity that he can
to prove the manager.
Now Anthony's out.
Greenwood is out of the team.
So the position is yours.
It's there for grabs.
Yeah, it's there for grabs because on the left you have Garnacho and Rashford. I think that Jadon Sancho wouldn't feature in that particular. On the right, you only have to contend with Pellistri.
Yeah, and Pellistri.
So I think that if Jadon Sancho really means business, now is the time for him to
walk
into
the push Bruno there and play for it with him.
I would wish that we would continue with Manchester United on their away performance. Let's Kofi, truth be told, and I think when we're previewing the United Arsenal game, we spoke about that damning statistics last season. They losing 30 points on the road compared to they winning and losing just 9 points at home. They lost they dropped just 2 games in terms of drawing and losing just 1 at home. Incredible record at home. Just 9 points. But on the road, they lost a whooping 30 points. And Kofi said that is akin to a relegation threatened team. Yeah. And if you look at their last 14 away games, including last season and this season, Manchester United have picked just 1 point, losing 13 games out of those 14 games. They are not playing well at home, on the road. And against the top teams, in terms of the big guys they should be competing with, United are yet to win a single game against this top team. Kofi, where do you think the problem could stem from? Why are they so good at home? Literally, they beat every team that they came across, almost every team they came across in the league at home. All the big teams, they beat them. They beat City, they beat Arsenal, they beat Liverpool, name them, they beat them at home. But on the road, they suffered some of the heaviest defeats on the road against some of these big teams. They lost 6 to City, they lost 7 to Liverpool. Newcastle beat them. Arsenal beat them 3-2. Not just Arsenal, but on the road they have not been good. What is the problem with Manchester United from last season? And the trajectory continues this season. They are yet to pick up a single win on the road.
You people, I don't know what is wrong with you people, football fans. Ole does it. Ole is not good enough. Because if you look at Ole's record against the big 6,
he beat everybody.
Fantastic.
But he was fumbling against the small teams.
Ole was one manager who Pep Guardiola feared.
He beat him in a way.
Yes, I mean there was a season he beat him 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4.
So football fans are, forgive me.
You know what they want.
Football fans are fickle. Forgive me.
You're one of them.
Yes,
because you're not an advocate of Ole. But you are here singing his praise.
So
because
football
of
fans,
what he did against.
I always fickle.
I
mean, so I think that you need to find the right balance between playing at home and then playing on the road. I mean,
United have not found that.
Well, I don't know. But the
What
results,
do you think the problem is?
I don't think there's a problem.
Really?
I don't think there's a problem. I've watched United play. I watched United play against Arsenal. Ordinarily, I should have been sad because I'm a Manchester United fan. But I came out of that game excited at the prospects that I saw. Because I've always told you on this show that when it comes to some of the biggest games, it's really about the margins. It's about who takes his opportunity at the most opportune time. For me, 9 out of 10, United will not lose that game against Arsenal.
Let's not look at we are not looking at the game against Arsenal.
Because I get the point. I mean, because you are drawing in back issues from last season and then
exactly.
just elongate it, because
this
season the only biggest games they played away, I think that it has to be Tottenham and then Arsenal.
Exactly.
You understand? So
it's a trend. Last season, we didn't win
I
any of the big games.
I get
this
the point.
season
I get the point you're making.
United
All I am saying,
performance.
yes, I am
Let's not
saying,
zero in on one
I
game.
am saying that sometimes you do not need to look at the whole big picture in retrospect. You need to mind the details. And for me, if I mind the details, for example, in that Tottenham game, United could have easily won that game.
That's football. You move from a point where I could have won to have lost it.
Exactly the
So
point.
you need to get the right balance.
That is why I said they have probably not found the right balance playing away from home. No, so they need to adjust the system, because
exactly, now you're telling us the problem.
In that game against Tottenham, I mean, look at the chance that Bruno Fernandes missed. That ball goes in, the whole dynamic changes.
Rashford.
Exactly. So I think that it's about mastering the moment. It's about mastering the fine imprint. It's about minding the little details. That's for me where I think that United needs to be looking at. It's about minding the little details when it comes to
little details playing.
Well, I think that when you play away from home, because literally the home spectators and all of the dynamics regards the pitch and all of those other atmospheric conditions are against you, you need to learn to take the moment. And that's one thing that I think that this particular United team at the Ten Hag has failed not to do very well. They have not learned to take the moment. Because, you see, Ten Hag keeps talking about they being brutally clinical in front of goal. And I think that particular phrase refers to United away from Old Trafford. Look, against Arsenal, I'm saying, and I will sit here and then mince words. 9 out of 10, that Garnacho ball is the decider.
That's all.
It's the decider. I mean, how the English FA and the EPL have, I mean, you know, when we started the season, they talked that they had reviewed the offside decision. And that in scenarios like that, it favored more the attacker than the defender.
But we know that when it comes to the EPL and how they utilize the
VAR.
The VAR, it's one of the worst.
Scandalous.
It's one of the worst.
There have been
That's
issues
why
that they are now probing.
That's why I am telling you that,
all of that.
9 out of 10.
We saw. I listened to the.
No, look
audio
at that. Look at that goal that Man City scored against Fulham.
I listened to the.
How?
I listened to the audio.
That was.
So guys, I listened to
the second
audio,
goal.
Or the audio Howard Webb released, and the discussion that literally went behind the scene, or that took
even
place
with the penalty
behind the
decision.
scene between the VAR, which is the video assistant referee, and his other assistant. So literally, it's about the guy who can speak loudest and has the loudest voice in the room.
Same for the penalty.
Because it is not necessarily about
the decision,
the application of the rule. Because if you listen to the audio, there was one guy who was insistent that no, the referee shouldn't go and review the decision on the pitch. And it's like they all literally told the same lie. So when it comes to the VAR, I think that it's unanimous on this show. How the EPL or the Premier League have decided to apply the rules is very, very off, because that is not what FIFA does. That is not what Germany they do. Italy
they are even using semi-automatic.
Exactly. Italy they do. Spain does. It's totally different. So for the VAR, we know they are not doing their work well. But you spoke about the fine margins and how United are not playing to the moment on the road. So does that mean that United are more emotional at home because they have the home fans, behind them? They are playing in the moment. There's everything. We are playing at home. We have our fans, behind us. So that's more of playing emotionally, because it's like last season. One of the things that worried us now was at home they could rally, and if you watch on the road, they were not able to do that. When they go behind, they are not able to come back, because who is there to throw his weight around and cheer you on? couldn't won't that be a negative? And are we not seeing the negatives on the road?
I think it's a negative. I mean, there's a reason why City are champions, and they've been champions in England for the last 3 seasons. The point is that if you want a team that wants to win the championship, like you spoke about, you do not need to be only emotionally connected to the fans when you are playing at home. You need to learn to ride the storm even when you're away from home. So you look at City, you look at some of the results they've gotten away from home. You realize that sometimes they've not played the best of football,
not played well,
but they take the moment and they grasp it. Look at that Rodri goal in that second game. I was one of those teams. I mean, no, one of those new teams.
It was against
Burnley.
It wasn't against Burnley. They played
one of those
Sheffield.
Sheffield. I mean, yes, when Sheffield equalized, and then you look at the manner Sheffield equalized. Another team would have
8 minutes.
Another team would have folded.
Let's pick a draw and let's go.
But then Rodri scores that goal, and then I listened to an interview by, I think it was Laporte. He says that for them, they cherish that goal because it tells them something about them. It tells them something about their inner strength. Then I realized that, Eureka, this is it. I mean, this is what the City boys are doing right in that dressing room. This is what Pep Guardiola has tried to instill in that City team. I think that it's one thing that Ten Hag and the rest of the coaching staff need to instill into that United team. If they really want to go on and be champions, they need to be less emotional when it comes to their away performances. You do not need only the Stretford end to back you up and then cheer you on before you come 2 goals down against Nottingham Forest, get that 3-2. You need to do it on the road. You need to do it consistently, and then you need to make sure that you are not emotionally attached to the fan base when it comes to some of these away performances.
Percy, Arsenal did, the big one over Manchester United. Gabriel Jesus. Some people are saying that what's his name? Dalot they are still looking for Dalot.
He's left the stadium. he's left the stadium. He's left the stadium.
Oh my God, that's just by the way. But was that a statement to win?
That's no statement.
But if you listen to the narrative out there, I've listened to some podcasts. I've even listened to top, journalists across Europe, and some feel that it's not about the goal. It's about the character that they've seen in Arsenal. They think that it was more of a statement win, and it's not just one of those wins, but Arsenal this season are the guys to challenge Manchester City, not Liverpool, not United.
You just made a statement right now that United have been awful on the road. So that is something that has been common with the mentality of United. So if you come across United as Arsenal and you also get a win over them, of course it's a win, but it is not a statement. I wouldn't take that as a statement.
Why is it not a statement?
It is not a statement. I just gave you one reason. One reason is that United have been poor on the road.
So any team that comes up against United on the road, you should expect that at least they get a point.
Trying to say, so you come, United comes to your home and you beat United. You don't add it to your CV at the moment that it is a reason for you to challenge for the title.
Okay.
Another thing is that I just want to add a little to what Kofi said. Apart from the fact that United would have to maybe model their game such that they would be balanced, the next is United don't have a big game player. You see,
so you've taken us back to United issue. Okay, we'll get back to the Arsenal issue. You feel United do not have a big game player.
Now,
big game player in which respect?
Now, you were talking about City.
Yeah.
If you take City last season, all through to this season, who is their big game player?
I think that last season, Ike Gundogan and Rodri. If you watch Gundogan last season against Everton,
I wanted you to.
Ike Gundogan and Rodri have stepped up in crucial moments.
Especially Rodri.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about somebody who consistently scores. Haaland is there. But every single moment they need to break a team.
Look at the FA Cup.
They need to break a team
against United.
They need to break a team. They need to change some. That is what United had over the years. United, if you watch United, 2012, 2013.
Bruno Fernandes is not.
Bruno, if you watch Bruno Fernandes, sometimes I feel sad. I feel sad.
You know his nickname, Bruno Emotional Fernandes.
See, I feel sad. I feel sad that he finds himself in this era of United. If Bruno Fernandes was in the 2012-2013 United, he could have been gunning for Ballon d'Or. You watch this guy, the chances he creates, the passes he gives that supposedly should be goals, and you see those up front.
You're convincing
and
me.
And the way they start, because he's been in the team for the past 3 seasons.
That guy that
he's been in the team for the past 3 seasons, and not even Kevin De Bruyne has been able to amass the number of chances this guy has created. He is supposed to create chance, but in the end, he's the one scoring.
So you think United do not?
United needs, see what United has gotten over the years. 2012-2013, the big game player was Robin van Persie. They could have a crunch game that they would need one, just one goal to break everything. Then he would step up. Over the years, they had been good. There are even some years in 2008-2009, the big game player was Ryan Giggs.
So this current United team,
who even scores the goal?
And so how do you juxtapose that to when they go on the road?
Because so when you go on the
road, when is having a big game player
when you go on the road,
changing.
Well, I think that big game player could be Højlund. I mean,
let me go back.
Listen, you had it here first.
No problem.
Højlund will be.
I am telling you.
United big game player.
I am telling you.
Let me continue. What I am saying is that when you are on the road, usually, especially with these lower tier teams, they usually force you to play their system, especially with this all of these teams you can think of. Either they will sit back, or if you go to a team that actually plays better than you, like City, you will have to sit back. At that time, if it is rather your home, most of the time you have the luxury of playing every formation that you want. So you go away and your formation is distorted. It is not that time that whatever you've put in training grounds, you've been able to put together. So when that big game player steps in, it is not a matter of the formation you've put up. It is a matter of taking the moment and making the best out of it, because you don't have the luxury of playing the way you want to play. You don't have the luxury of either possessing. Like if you go to City, you can't possess. If you go to Burnley, you can't be playing because they've sat back. They are watching you. So City, for you've watched that Sheffield game. After scoring, is it Mguembo also? After scoring, they literally bored like 3 different walls.
But Percy, Kofi, guys, sorry that we have to go back to this United issue, and it's just 60 seconds because we moved on from that. Is that actually not the opposite? Because if you are playing at home, these teams will not attack you. They would rather sit back, and on the road, they would rather want to open up. Because I've watched United, and I think the United's game plan on the road is more of being a counter-attacking team on the road. Because I've watched United against some of these big teams, and that is how they've played, because that's United's strength. They have the guys who can run at you. Rashford, Anthony, Garnacho, Pelestri. These guys are scored for pace. So United on the road, actually, and if you watch the Arsenal game from the 70th minute, when the game was still 1-1, United actually adopted to play the counter-attack, because they felt like Arsenal were coming. They were literally coming at them.
Did you see Højlund in that moment? The last 20 minutes.
Kofi and Højlund.
Fantastic.
Anyway, so shouldn't we be talking about United's approach to games instead of they having a big game plan? Because like I said, on the road, they are more of, let's play to the strength of our players in being a bit counter, a counter-attacking team. But at home, United are very, flexible.
Just to add a little bit before Percy comes in, I think that modern day managers have become pragmatists.
Okay.
Yeah. We talked about Pep Guardiola until his introduction to the EPL. Pep Guardiola is not that guy today who plays the tiki-taka or wants to hold possession. No.
Almost.
I've seen City play. They do not look like a Pep Guardiola team. But the point is that they find a way to win.
They grind results.
They grind results. Maybe that has to be the right
forwards.
I mean
that's unlike Guardiola.
That is unlike Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola likes to. His teams traditionally like to handle the ball, but these days they don't mind ceding possession to opponents, but it hits you when it matters most.
So it's about you look
so
at the
for me, exactly. So for me, you would have to be pragmatic. I've said in private and publicly that I don't believe in that philosophy that because I play a 4-3-3 is the best system that suits me across all games, across all matches, at every ground.
Let's shut the door on Manchester United. Was that Arsenal? Percy believes that it wasn't a statement, but
I don't think it was. I don't think it was a statement. I mean, Arsenal won against Manchester United last season.
Yeah,
they won 3-2.
Yeah.
They didn't win the league. You understand? I mean, so if you're doing the plus and minus, only that maybe this time around they have a +1 goal.
Even last 2 seasons, they won.
Let me not say are we, because I hold a different opinion to all of this. I think that it's not about the win. It's about I saw something about Arsenal.
Obviously, they were aided by VAR.
The Arsenal were not aided by VAR.
They were aided by VAR.
Arsenal didn't tell VAR to disallow that goal.
They have been conspiracy theories. I mean, that have come out.
Arsenal were
They were aided by VAR.
And Howard Webb has explained, they've given us their reasons, and based on their reasons, according to their law, it's offside. So let's not. It's
makes sense to
you. A goal is only a goal when the referee deems it or allows it.
It makes sense.
You don't say we scored a goal, but the referee disallows.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense to you.
I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
No, but it makes sense to you, the decision.
But I hold a different opinion to what Kofi and Percy are saying. I feel that win is a statement win. I've seen Arsenal. I'm looking at their character, and I think that Arsenal this season are going to be a very difficult team to beat, both home and away. But that is my opinion.
Against Fulham.
Kofi,
against 10-man Fulham.
You come across these teams, some of these games where you struggle, but Arsenal did not drop maximum point. They picked up what matters the most.
But against Fulham, they played 10 against 11. They were leading 2-1 when Fulham went down.
So you think it's not a statement win?
I don't think. I was tipping Arsenal to be one of the teams. To be the team actually that breaks the jinx on City, but
this season,
looking at them, I don't think.
You don't think they will?
They are so far away.
I will come back and read your messages, guys. Keep the messages coming on our live chat segment. This is our live show. We come off Sunday 7 to 8, but today we're giving you an extended version because of the issues that we'll be talking about today. We've talked about Manchester United and the whole Ten Hag, Jadon Sancho issue. What do you make of it? These guys believe that it's not the end of Jadon Sancho, but they think that it's more of a reverse psychology, and that the Ten Hag is literally throwing out the challenge to Jadon Sancho that guy, this is what you need to do to get back into the team. And Kofi said it. Anthony has now been given some months off to deal with his own issues. There are players that are injured. The position there is up for grabs. It's up to Jadon Sancho to grab it. What do you make of it? Should Ten Hag freeze this guy out of his team because of the disrespect he's giving him out there? Or he should just give him an opportunity? The guys have had their take. Let me know your take in the comment section. I'll be reading your comment very soon. We're speaking about Manchester United's poor away form. What do you think could be the problem? Percy has spoken at length, believes that it is about they not having a big game player. Kofi feels that it's about they not playing, to the right pattern in terms of how they should approach games and all of that. They've spoken at length. What do you make of it? We've had our take on this Arsenal issue. My guys there, they don't think that Arsenal, based on that performance, it's enough to conclude that it's a statement win and they will challenge City for the league. If Arsenal are not challenging City for the league title this season, who will? Quick one, this one is there is no explanation. Who will? If you think
Liverpool
will, Kofi,
Liverpool.
I'm not going to ask you why. You think
don't
Kofi,
ask me why. Liverpool.
who will? Because if you are counting out Arsenal, I do not think that United with this kind of form, because they are not and
no,
you
United are not ready to
you are not giving, and they have too many issues. They're unsettled players and all of that. So literally, you would align with Liverpool, or City are doing the first time in history 4-peat.
Well, I'm scared to say, but they could do a 4-peat. I don't think.
I also want to change. I want to change my prediction.
Honestly, I don't
from
see
Arsenal winning the
Liverpool
league to City.
Liverpool, no.
Liverpool.
No.
But I'm looking at Liverpool, and it looks like
yes, they are grinding results, but
let's not about they grinding. It looks like they've settled their midfield issue. They've signed a very good player who, when he wants to play football, because at Bayern he had issues with the manager and he wasn't giving game time. Because I listened to several interviews, Ryan Gravenberch, where the coach said he wasn't.
But they tell me
he's not a Kimmich. He's not a Kimmich. The coach wanted him to be a Kimmich, and he says, "I am not a Kimmich." So they had issues.
No, but they tell me it's not a DM.
Their DM is Endo.
So they seem to have sorted out their issues. But he's saying, who will challenge Manchester City for the league title?
Nobody.
Liverpool.
So
nobody.
City might just do the
I still insist. Liverpool not make the top 4.
This is Darwin Núñez second season.
Liverpool will not make the top 4. You know, Darwin Núñez has become like.
I didn't want you guys to, because we have to talk about the blistering season Jude Bellingham is having, and the impact on Real Madrid.
We talk about Jude Bellingham. We scored 2 hot goals against Newcastle. Yeah. Next game,
brilliant goals
all over the place.
Oh, but watch him in the Uruguay national team. He was exceptional. Uruguay national team.
Trust me, Richarlison in the Brazilian national team is exceptional. But he's yet to score a goal for Tottenham Hotspur after a £60 million move. So
he scored
play
one.
For your last season.
He scored 2 actually.
No, or he's not scored 2.
No, last season he scored 1.
And this is, you know, that game against Bolivia, he didn't understand why Brazil scored 6 and he didn't score.
He was crying on the bench.
He scored 5 and he didn't score.
He was frustrated, but
he was crying on the bench.
Game against Bolivia.
If Brazil, the Brazilian teams I've seen over the years,
they've not had a number 9 for the past.
This is their number 9.
Their last number 9 was Fabinho. Since Fabinho.
And even Fabinho cried on yet.
No. Fabinho was good. No. After you have Ronaldo.
There's a reason we love Brazil.
Me, the last Brazil.
There's a reason we love Brazil. Adriano. There's a reason why we love Brazil.
Fabinho was okay.
It was okay. There's a reason we love Brazil.
But there was Fred.
Oh, come on. I mean, come on.
That's what, you know, saddens me about Brazil, that they cannot produce a number 9 worthy of that Ronaldo. Number 9 jersey that Richarlison will be the guy that they would bank their. You saw the goal he makes against Bolivia.
He was crying.
Anyway, I mean, we can't talk about, you know, this season and neglect what we are seeing from Jude Bellingham. 4 goals, 5 goals, 1 assist. 4 games, 5 goals, 1 assist. He's literally the Mr. Real Madrid this season. He pops up when the team needs him. He's been playing on top of the diamond, literally as the number 10 guy, given the free role by Ancelotti, and he's doing damage left, right, center. And some say, whoever is his manager, great move. There was no way this guy, Liverpool, he should be playing for Liverpool. This is a Real Madrid-made player. That is what people are saying. But Jude Bellingham, he's continued from where he left off last season from Borussia Dortmund to Real Madrid. What do you make of his start to the season at Real Madrid?
I love Jude Bellingham. I love him.
The word I'll use, I'm surprised. I didn't expect him to hit the ground.
Well, I'm not surprised. I've always expected somebody like Jude Bellingham to be this player the world is seeing. Because I've looked at him, I've seen him play. I don't think he's been a hype. I've never thought of him as being a hype. I mean, usually these English boys come through the ranks and some of them are good.
They Jadon Sancho you.
Jadon Sancho is a good player.
And to us, they don't live up to the expectation.
I think that, I'll come there, I think that the difference between Jadon Sancho and hypothetically somebody like Jude Bellingham has to be the mentality. Okay. Well, and I think that to a large extent, it has to be the mentality at the club he plays for. Percy spoke about the fact that Manchester United and Alex Ferguson were different animals altogether. I don't think that the club today has the same mentality as they did under Alex Ferguson. That is something that needs to be built. Now, I mean, you see, the mentality creates the aura. You understand? Because when you have a group of players who believe in a particular status quo, it becomes the new normal. And then they drive fear into the hearts of opponents. Before you come there, you have lost. I think that now, every team that wants to play against Real Madrid needs, the manager will be drawing rings around Jude Bellingham, because he's that guy. You don't know who he is. You don't know whether he's the auxiliary forward. You don't know whether.
He's the anchor guy on top of the.
I think that, you see, I listened to an interview by Harry Kane this week, and he spoke about the mentality at Bayern Munich. He spoke about the difference between Bayern Munich and Tottenham. He says that at Bayern Munich, they've won their first 2 games 3-1, 4-1, but people are not happy in the dressing room. At Tottenham, it will be normal if they won the first 2 games and then drew the next one. At Bayern Munich, you win the first 2 games 3-1, 4-1, and you draw. Even with Bayern Munich, they won the last game against Mönchengladbach, coming back and winning 2-1. But he says that there was an inquiry in that dressing room. You understand? It tells you of the mentality and the standards the players are set for themselves. For me, I think that, you see, it only takes a few players to play and perform for Real Madrid. I am quick to cite the example of Eden Hazard. I mean, forgive me, but I mean, forgive me, but it's the only thing
but
that.
He's about the only player,
I mean, exactly.
Right now we can refer to.
You know, it does not just take talent to play for Real Madrid. Character. I think that it takes more temperament to play for Real Madrid than talent. That you believe that you own the stage. I've always told people like Rodriguez. I mean, that Brazilian boy, Rodriguez. I don't think he's an exceptional player. You understand? I've looked at people like
Roselu.
No, but you see, it's this mentality that sets them apart. They walk onto that stage and they believe that they belong to that stage, because there is no bigger platform in club football than Real Madrid. No, none other than Real Madrid. So when you walk there, and you see the same with Jude Bellingham. Look at not just his play, his celebration, his tenacity. It tells you a lot about the make of the player. He scores goals. You're not Cristiano Ronaldo. You're not Karim Benzema. You go and stand at the away support and open your arms like, "Hello, I am Lionel Messi. Come and let me embrace you."
The medical staff.
You understand?
Everyone.
For me, that kid is going places, and for me, the world has not seen the best of him. He might be the next Zidane.
Whoa,
I am not surprised he wears the number 5.
That's a big statement from Kofi. But guys, we're talking about Jude Bellingham's blistering start to the season at Real Madrid, and Kofi has made a very bold statement. Well, though he uses a caveat, he might be, but I think that's huge. The next Zinedine Zidane in terms of his play at Real Madrid. Percy, Jude Bellingham started at Real Madrid. I'll come back to Kofi and I'll pose a question. Because when they sign number 9,
Kylian, when they sign Kylian Mbappe,
the entire dynamics
they are going to beat everybody.
In terms of his, no, I'm not even talking about in terms of his role, because right now he has so much freedom on the pitch in terms of role. But whenever a Kylian Mbappe type of player comes in, the setup and everything changes. And so would that limit what he's doing on the pitch? Or we'll talk about that, but let's look at Jude Bellingham's stats.
Now, Kofi has talked about the aura and the grace around him as a player. There have been a lot of English. Okay, if we use probably Eden Hazard, that would be probably too harsh. Let's talk about the English players who have actually come into the...
For me, the only successful English player at Real Madrid is Steve McManaman.
He wasn't even successful. Talk about the way he was playing at Liverpool,
I think he
and
was
he
really
came,
bad.
and the fact that he scored in the Champions League final.
The rest, or they
The
never
rest,
succeeded.
and when he came into the team,
Jonathan Woodgate didn't, Owen didn't, Beckham didn't. None
can
of them
I
should.
continue? No, you talked about. Listen, Beckham came.
Beckham has never,
No.
he has never been a great player.
No problem.
He came to retire and
He came for
enjoy
the
his
money.
fame
No
at
problem.
Real
Now,
Madrid.
if you take one of the things that made us understand that this guy is a great player was the jersey number he chose. Real Madrid's number 5 was not an exceptional number. It wasn't any great number until that was after Fernando Hierro. When Zidane came in and he picked that number. He used that number until 2006. Then he handed it over. Guess who he handed it over to? Fabio Cannavaro, a Ballon d'Or winner. When he came after one season, the guy was just off, so he left it for this Argentine, Fernando Gago.
Yeah.
Then after Gago came in,
But if you look at the profile of players that are post Hero, Fernando Gago shouldn't be in there because
Then-
I think that if you're mentioning DMs,
I'm
there's
not
somebody's name that you're going to.
I'm
name,
not
it-
done. The
it
next
should be
next is Fabio Contrao.
That guy was my player. Fantastic
But
left
after
foot.
him,
You have to mention that name.
after him, the next
If you
person.
don't mention that name well, you might have to use the word on the show. So be careful when you have
Fabio
slowed down.
Contrao.
After him, the next person who came to pick it was actually the person who made it better. That was Rafael Varane.
Exactly.
So when
So about 4 players that are.
so after the 4 players, there is Zinedine Zidane, very good. Cannavaro, very good.
The rest have all been rubbish.
Oh, but Varane.
Oh no, I'm talking about the apart from Varane,
So
the
out
rest
of
have
the
all been
5,
rubbish.
Varane. So you come into a team. Which jersey number do you want as a midfielder? There are lots of jerseys available, and you choose to go for Zinedine Zidane's jersey. Charlie, there are people who regret picking a number 7. So you could use that as an excuse. That is one. When Kofi talked about the celebration. For a player to score a goal in Real Madrid and go to the medical staff, the only players you can mention doing that is Cristiano Ronaldo.
Are we not making too much out
No,
of
no. I am not talking about his play. You see?
No, I'm talking about going to the medical
No.
staff to-
The guy, no, I'm trying to say that Ronaldo did this. Is it in 2012? He scored a goal and went to the medical staff. And after an interview or so, he said
Not
that
an appreciation.
no,
to-
one of the reasons why he has been fit because
Exactly,
a season
that's what
before
you're saying,
that was 9-10. He had an injury. That was why he had just 3 goals. So that season he complained the medical staff. The next season he was fit throughout the whole season. So it's more or less like this guy is already trying to impose himself as one of the big guys in the dressing. It's not necessarily his play because Real Madrid itself. The name alone makes players crumble and players become very useless at what they do. And it's not just about Hazard. We've had a plethora of players who have come, Ian Robin, Wesley Schneider. These were big names. So you come into a team, you first take Zinedine Zidane's jersey. That is one. You do the things that only one of, you can say, arguably the greatest player has done. You go to an away end of the team. And the only players who are able to open their arms, you see, that celebration is not just for anybody. Benzema does that. Raul does that.
Richarlison does that.
Cristiano Ronaldo does that. And you are just barely 2 months into your, what do you call it, your purchase. And you go and do that. To try to more or less like make enemies just 1 month into your start. It makes you know that this is somebody who wants to announce himself. The only thing we are now waiting for is the dead Clasico. We know the Clasico is dead. But then he does something in the El Clasico because now they started attributing him to Cristiano Ronaldo was the only person who scored first 4 matches, 5 goals. He's done the same thing. He goes to the El Clasico, announces himself by scoring a goal or giving an assist. Real Madrid is a team that has seen everybody. Everybody literally you can take off.
You see, that's why I'm a bit surprised.
I'm saying that Real Madrid has seen everybody.
Even me, who is young, since
No,
I
you've
started
seen everybody.
watching Real Madrid, there's no player that will surprise me now because Real Madrid has seen. What have they
This
seen?
is
in one
no.
football?
This is Real Madrid. When you come, and you make them know that you want to be great, they will make you great. Real Madrid, when you come and you make them know that, because they've seen everybody. When Ronaldo came, Ronaldo made them know that I want to be great.
So you think it's not Vinicius Junior?
No. Vinicius does not have the balls to do what.
As much as Vinicius Junior is good with the team and his productivity with the team.
Bellingham has that. Bellingham has that great. You see that thing. Not so many players have it.
Let me throw in this caveat. It's not just about your play.
No.
Jude Bellingham has the personality Real Madrid is looking for.
It.
But Vinicius doesn't have the personality.
No.
So the poster boy to hopefully prior Mbappe, because trust me, if Mbappe comes, he is the poster boy automatically. he dips everybody's side.
But you can have multiple poster boys.
Real Madrid had it in 2002. There was Figo, there was Ronaldo, there was Zinedine.
It's good for business, man.
In the eyes of football, in the eyes of the La Liga need that shine again, because the light of the La Liga is dim. They need that shine again. So I am hoping that they will be able to annex, what is it called, Kylian Mbappe. They need the spotlight on them again. But like I'm saying, Kofi, it's not just about what you do on the pitch of play when it comes to Real Madrid. So as good as Vinicius is, he doesn't have that personality that has always surrounded greats at Real Madrid. You think it's this kid?
Well, I think it's this kid. I think that Vinicius, top 5 best players in the world
currently,
he's one of them. Vinicius,
no doubt.
On the evidence of performances,
even from last season,
exactly, on the evidence of performances. But you see, there is one thing about Real Madrid, and I think that what Percy said was quite poignant. I mean, in the sense that Real Madrid is a den where heroes are made. If you want to be unmade, you'll be unmade. You understand? I mean, talks about Contrao. You understand? I mean, if you want to be unmade,
I've told you, you got to be careful on this show. You got to be careful. They've seen some players.
So the point is simple. I think that when it comes to Madrid, it's about who has the balls to step up on the biggest of plates. And listen, let's not kid ourselves. If you look at the current generation of Real Madrid players, there are lots of them who fall in that bracket.
Even the young chap, Rodrigo.
I am telling you, Rodrigo.
Who is not an exceptional player, but he has that
character. He rejected Barcelona.
Listen, even Chouameni,
Camavinga
in that midfield. Very soon, Toni Kroos and then Luka Modric will walk away. These are guys who are ready to boss it and tell the whole world that we play for Real Madrid. For me, I think Bellingham, what he's done is way ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
I think that he's probably jumped his schedule
a year ahead of time.
I think that this is something he should have been doing next season.
Yeah.
But it tells you of the balls that the guy has in the dressing room. And for me, it scares me.
Why?
As an opponent supporter, that if you have a 21-year-old who has these balls, and then he's surrounded by a couple of 20-year-olds who think that they also have those balls, what we could potentially be seeing is that we could be seeing a dynasty being built right before our eyes. I am scared if we throw in the whole Mbappe thing. I'm scared. I'm scared.
I don't want to envision how good Real Madrid will be with Vinicius on the right.
On
the left, Rodriguez on the right, Mbappe through the middle. Jude Bellingham just behind Mbappe.
Chouameni, Camavinga.
Oh God!
As the two.
Militao in defense.
People seem to have forgotten Fede Valverde.
Yes.
He will be the midfield. You think the 3-man midfield.
So it's Real Madrid. If they fix their defense with the erraticness of Rudiger and Militao, Real Madrid will be.
Well, for me, I don't know why they. Well, I don't think I've always had my opinions about Militao.
That's what I say.
You mentioned of Richarlison and not say that he's not Brazilian. I don't think Militao is Brazilian. He's more Somalian. He's more Somalian than Brazilian.
Militao, Gabriel Jesus, Richarlison.
I don't think they are Brazilians.
Femino, these guys are not Brazilian.
They just inherited Brazilian passports.
No, their parents were Europeans. They went to Brazil, came back there, and Anthony is Brazilian.
I don't think Anthony is Brazilian.
But guys, I mean, we're talking about Jude Bellingham's, amazing start to the season and how wonderful and seamlessly he slotted into this Real Madrid team. If you're a Real Madrid fan, if you're a lover of football, I think that you need to appreciate what this young chap is doing. 4 games, 5 goals, 1 assist. He's taking the mantle, with some level of pride in the absence of Benzema, because trust me, a team that loses a player that gives you 40 plus in goals and assists, it's so difficult to replace. And yes, they will struggle to replace it. But this guy has made, all of a sudden, nobody's talking about Karim Benzema because
when we started the season, you talked about the fact that Real Madrid were going to struggle because they were going to struggle to replace Benzema's goals.
Because
I think that what Jude Bellingham has done is to take pressure off the likes of the Joselus. Now the Joselus are doing their job. They are getting the goals in there.
Now the goals will spread across board.
Exactly the point.
Many players scoring.
I remember saying that they don't need somebody who can score 40 goals. They need somebody who can cheat. They need people who can.
Can I be a party pooper here? Is it not too early for us to wax lyrical about Jude Bellingham? What happens? This is the caveat. What happens because it's just 5 games into the season? Just like we are saying, Arsenal is just the start of the season. Come on, that's you see the real Arsenal when we are in January, February, March. That's the real Arsenal you're going to see. It's just the start of the season. 20 games into the season, somewhere in January, he's not scoring.
He loses form.
He's not necessarily loses form, but his claim to fame now is because he's the guy banging in the goals, and he's the guy everybody's looking up to. Even when Real Madrid are not scoring. In their last game, he popped up, against Celta Vigo, scores the goal, shuts the noise all up. What happens then? Does that mean, because trust me, the noise will die down at some point. What happens then?
The thing is that with Real Madrid, you come and in the beginning, you show up. They will have it for you. One thing with Real Madrid is that nobody is safe.
No, I don't. Even Ronaldo, with what he did.
The thing is, nobody is safe. Even Casillas, we don't know how he left. We don't know how Raul left. We don't know how Ronaldo left.
We know the issues.
But Casillas, Mourinho sacked him.
If Real Madrid can allow a manager to push away their legend, Real Madrid, nobody is safe.
No, look at Del Bosque. Dude wins the Champions League. The next day he's fired.
No one is safe.
So for Real Madrid, the thing is that what they give you, it is no guarantee that they would be there for you even when you are messing up. So this thing about Sancho, that he's crying because the coach has sent a message. Real Madrid, it is not the coach who sends the message.
The fans.
The fans themselves. If you watch Olympic Lyon the last time, let's chip this in. After they lost their match, they are ultras. They call the players.
These ultras,
then they pick the microphone and told them that they have seen players, and they started mentioning names. Cindy Bongo, Junino Pernambucano. They mentioned all the players, and they said that none of them they deserves to wear a jersey, and the players could not say they've won the league 6 continuous times.
The Juventus ultras, at some point called the Moratis and they're not signed Lukaku. It was the reason why that deal collapsed.
So Real Madrid is a team like that, and for them when they speak, Florentino Perez, it is law for him. So if he sees this, it is a motivation that he should be on the rise over and over and over. So if the noise dies down, I can't guarantee him.
Will the purchase of Kylian Mbappe switch the whole dynamics, or we're still going to see the best of Jude Bellingham? Because I have a feeling that if Mbappe walks into that Real Madrid team, it changes everything.
Well, I think good players learn to play with good players.
Yeah.
That's
He will
why I
still
think.
be-
I
It's not his position.
know. I mean,
He will still be
Jude Bellingham is a fantastic talent. Kylian Mbappe is a world-class talent. I mean, he needs no introduction. I think that he's the best player in the world today. I struggle to find anybody who comes close to Kylian
Lionel
Mbappe.
Messi.
Oh, come on! I mean, let's not kid around on this show. I think that he's the best player in the world. I don't know why Lucky is so.
He's not
He's listening to what I'm saying.
When
Yeah.
there's
So
anything-
I think that when Kylian Mbappe does drop into the equation, I still think that the thing about good footballers is that they understand their roles and they understand the roles that the other players that they are supposed to complement. The roles that they are supposed to play. You understand? Yes, there's a cliche that the very good players, when it comes to forwards, are selfish. You understand? And rightly so, because you do not expect Messi to pass you the ball all the time when he knows and has tried over and over and knows that 9 out of 10 he can score. Why should he pass you to you the ball? I mean,
the ball to Anthony.
oh no. So that's the point. But I think that regards Bellingham, I feel that this Real Madrid team is made in trenches. I speak so because I think that at certain points in the season, we'll see other players step up.
Yeah.
That's what I think this Madrid team is built for. I think that players will come in and shine in faces. You understand? It won't just be about Jude Bellingham. In another stretch, it could be about that Brazilian boy, Vinicius Junior. In another stretch, it could be about Joselu. You understand? So I think that this Real Madrid team, Joselu is a decent player. You understand? I think he's coming. He's not carrying Benzema, but he's coming and he's done his job.
Jokic had to leave. Jovic had to leave. Stop it.
Because he didn't have the attitude and the
Stop
the attitude.
Look
The
at
attitude and the attitude. I mean, this is a guy who flourished so much at Frankfurt. You do not step in to Real Madrid with the Frankfurt mentality. So so Joselu will come in and do his bit. Vinicius Junior will come in. We could even see Chouameni, Alaba come in and do their bit. You understand? Even your boy that you don't like. I mean that German black boy. You understand? You see the celebration. You see the celebration. No, Rudiger is a combined harvester.
Anyway, guys, my guys feel that Jude Bellingham, no matter what happens, he's a guy. I mean, he's one of those guys that will run football in the next few years together with Vinicius Junior, Kylian Mbappe, Erling Haaland. These are the young guys that will rule football. But we are looking at the two guys who pick up the mantle from Ronaldo and Messi. I've said that I've seen great players over the years, but Ronaldo and Messi are 1 in a million because Ronaldinho, his lifestyle did not make him reign.
Yeah.
Ronaldo, his injuries did not make him reign. Zinedine Zidane did not last for more than 3 years in terms of his reign. He was a late bloomer. But Lionel Messi and Ronaldo, over 10 years, we've been talking about these two guys.
And 10.
Yes, over 10 years, we've been talking about these guys.
Like
and even now,
15,
is it for
years.
somebody who is 37, 38?
38 going to 39.
You are comparing, if you are looking for world best, his name pops up. They are doing something that these young chaps should emulate. The likes of Kylian Mbappe and Jude Bellingham, Haaland.
Are you talking about the Ballon d'Or list?
No, I'm talking about their longevity in the face and in the mouth.
I thought we were talking about the Ballon d'Or list.
No, we are not talking about Ballon d'Or.
I mean, that looked like a scouting list.
Their longevity in the mouth and the face of people. But before we check out of the studio, the UEFA Champions League is coming on the 16th. Oh, next week. Yeah. You know, the Champions League is the tournament where, in confused ways, it's the greats are made there. Real Madrid have made their name and they've established themselves. How many? 13 trophies.
14
trophies. Barcelona have 5. Liverpool have 6.
Bayern 6.
Ajax have 7.
4.
Ajax have 5.
4.
No, Ajax
Four.
have Ajax
Four.
do not have
Four.
4.
They
Ajax
have
have 4.
Four.
AC has 7.
Bayern has 6.
Yeah.
So
And the 3-3 is United
I don't
and
want to talk about
Inter.
The 3-3s.
3-3.
Then Chelsea have 2.
Even the 3s, I will not add them. Even the 3s, I will not add them. I'm
And
talking
Arsenal
about
has 0.
Those guys that have from the 5, 6 there, but they are more or less like the guys that, when you mention the Champions League, you are looking at Liverpool, you are looking at AC Milan, though they faded off, you're looking at Barcelona, Real Madrid. The champion, the draw is out. Let me give you the group, and you probably the group.
Group F. Group F.
So Group F is made up of
Brutal.
of Dortmund,
Brutal.
PSG,
Brutal.
AC Milan,
Brutal.
and there's this team.
There's this one other team.
They are the Nkoso team there. But
even with that, they are tough.
How bad they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who wins that? I'll take you through the group and you give me your top 2. So who wins? Let's start with Group F. Who wins it? Or which 2 qualify for the next stage in Group F?
I don't know. Group F, I don't know.
But
I think that on the basis of what we have seen over the years, you might probably want to mention PSG. But you cannot trust this PSG team.
But don't you think that this is a new...
Now they have Kolomwani
and a new look PSG team?
Somebody told me they have the fastest attack in world football. Because if you have Kolomwani,
that guy, he's the reason we are where we are.
Who did not bring home the World Cup.
He's the reason we are where we are.
And he's in the Ballon d'Or list. The guy is in the Ballon d'Or list.
And there's no Rashford, but there is Odegaard.
You don't blame him for that.
Well, I think that PSG could be there. Maybe AC Milan based on their tradition. But it's difficult.
No.
It's difficult. It's a difficult group.
Okay, so
let's do it fast.
Let's start from group. Let's start from Group A. So there is Bayern Munich, Manchester United, FC Copenhagen, and Galatasaray.
On paper,
which 2 teams?
On paper,
no,
United.
it's not about what's on paper.
Based
on form, because there have been times where on paper United have not made it through the group stage.
United.
What do you think? What do you think? United are not going to go?
We have just chosen United and Bayern.
But I think that this group, there's no way United should allow Galatasaray.
It's not about you.
But Galatasaray is a strong team.
They've brought in some good players, but then
Ziyech.
Well, United have
especially when they are not playing away from home.
They're not playing well at home. Ooh, but I will still stick my neck out for.
Well, I think it will be Bayern United. Yeah.
So let's look at Group B. There is Sevilla, Arsenal, PSV, and Lens. I think that
Sevilla, Arsenal,
PSV, Eindhoven, and RC Lens.
I choose PSV, Eindhoven, and
And Sevilla.
Are you not being... Sevilla have always made the group
the Europa League.
They
fall back to the Europa League. They are comfortable in the Europa League.
But Arsenal has not played this for a very long time.
But this Arsenal team is...
They are unbeaten in the last 7 years.
So he believes PSV and Sevilla. What do you think?
Wow.
I think Arsenal and Sevilla...
Well, the truth of the matter is that Arsenal is not European royalty. So you cannot really factor them into some of the...
Arsenal and Sevilla to go through. I watched PSV against
PSV. Their coach is Van
Nistelrooy, they've won it before.
Their coach is Van Nistelrooy.
Nottingham Forest has won
Van Nistelrooy, right?
Yeah, Van Nistelrooy.
They were not good. Against Rangers.
Rangers is a top team. Let's go to
But Rangers is bigger than Arsenal. In the context of the Champions League. So those were two cathedrals. Those were two cathedrals playing.
PSV is not a good team.
They've won it before.
They are. Nottingham Forest have won the Champions League before.
So you take Arsenal to qualify.
I take Arsenal and Sevilla to qualify.
But you said Sevilla will drop out to come and play you.
No, because the group is safe. Napoli group C. Napoli, Real Madrid, SC Braga, and Union Berlin.
Let me go over my thing.
Real Madrid has a very good team. Very, very good team.
Real Madrid has never dropped out of the group.
So Real Madrid and who?
He said Real Madrid and who?
There's Napoli.
And who?
SC Braga.
Take Braga. And Braga has not played the Champions League.
Napoli and
Real Madrid.
But Union Berlin are dangerous.
But still Napoli and Real Madrid. So Group D, Benfica, Inter Milan, Salzburg, and Real Sociedad.
That's a difficult one.
I think it's a straight
Inter
Benfica. Benfica will always they get to the quarterfinals for the past 4 or 5 seasons.
Kofi, do this for us. Group E, Feyenoord, Atletico Madrid, SS Lazio, and Celtic. Kofi.
Wow.
Feyenoord, Atletico Madrid, SS Lazio, and Celtic. The 2 teams to go through.
Well, like ATM will go through.
Uh-huh.
And then I'll take Feyenoord.
Okay. Percy, Group F. That's the group of the PSG, Borussia Dortmund, AC Milan, and the team there is Newcastle.
Yeah.
And how is under fire? 4 games,
Charlie.
Just 1 win.
That group is dangerous.
PSG, Odo with Kolomwani and
PSG.
Kolomwani and my man.
There is Dembele.
Goncalo Ramos.
There's Goncalo Ramos.
So they would go
They've signed some underground talent.
We don't use underground talent to reach Champions League. We don't use that. So PSG is one. And then
you see when it comes to PSG and this prediction.
No. PSG, I won't even waste my time. I won't waste my time.
You become, the bad omen on the show. Please don't predict City will win the Champions League.
So you said PSG and who?
PSG.
Now City have a crow.
AC Milan.
It's PSG, AC Milan, Newcastle, and Borussia Dortmund.
Dortmund don't have enough firepower.
So you think?
I think it's AC Milan.
But AC Milan have also started the Serie A.
AC Milan are playing
I
think they've done some good business with the Tonali money.
Pulisic has slotted into the team solidly. Kofi, let's do Group G. People are saying for some reason City are yet to in the group stage. City are yet to
always.
No, they are always.
So Manchester City, RB Leipzig, FK Krasnodar Sevilla.
The 2 of them
it's
are
actually
very.
Red Star Belgrade that has changed their name. And Young Boys.
Young Boys are a team I like.
They always come to give goals. They come to give goals.
They score a lot of goals. They score a lot of goals. They are like Dortmund. They wear the yellow. You understand? I think that City Leipzig.
Okay. Percy, do this for us. The last group, Group H. Barca, Porto, Shakhtar, and Royal.
If Barca don't qualify,
you cannot
throw them out.
No, but you cannot tip this Barca team qualify.
Why didn't you say if United don't qualify, throw them out?
Barca for the past 2 seasons have dropped out of the group stage.
Yeah.
But why didn't you say if United don't qualify?
Listen, United has not dropped out from the past 2.
When was the last time United won the Champions League?
I'm not talking about winning the Champions League.
No, but he's saying the Barca have been relegated from the group stage of the
group stage for the past 2 seasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now with all the acquisitions that
there's Barcelona, Porto, Shakhtar, and Royal.
It's about who finishes second to Porto.
If Barca does not leave, in fact, if they don't
give me your top 2.
It should be Barca, Porto.
And you?
Which are the other ones in the team?
There's Royal Antwerp and Shakhtar Donetsk. They will not be playing in
Ukraine. For me, I think that
Poland.
I'm still not convinced about this Barcelona project. I still think that they deserve to play in the Europa League. I don't know, but they
have Cancelo now.
They
have Joao Felix.
United. I think that it could be one of those teams, Porto and Shakhtar. It could be Porto and then Shakhtar Donetsk.
No, so you give me your top 2 teams that are making out of the group stage.
Porto and Shakhtar Donetsk.
Okay, so Kofi, when it comes to Group H, Kofi picks Porto and Shakhtar Donetsk. But guys, thank you so much for joining us on the show. We spoke about a plethora of issues. Kofi, if you can go through some of the messages or the guys that joined us in our chats, and let's acknowledge their messages there. And we'll check out of this. Whoa, time is fast spent, but bravo, guys. I'm enjoying this very well from Liverpool. So Ramsey Fojo is watching us from Liverpool. Thanks, cheers, guys. Prince Gakpe says, good job, guys. Good evening, guys. Watching the show live inside Axim Botasi. We love you guys. So thank you so much for joining us on the show. We try to, when nobody's interested in the international week. It's one of the most annoying, periods in football.
We get to see Kolomwani.
Nobody is interested. So we decided to bring back all the issues that have happened in the course of last week.
We didn't talk about Black Stars.
And this week, Charlie. Me,
Charlie, that guy.
Chris
that guy.
Hutton. Chris Hutton. We stand out
Charlie,
Chris
Charlie,
Hutton.
Charlie.
We'll catch you again same time
Charlie.
next week. This is our Sunday sports review show.